Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zakir Jacob. There is a huge furor over what the Prime Minister said yesterday in Banswara in Rajasthan. The PM had said that the Congress manifesto promises redistribution of wealth, and if the Congress came to power, then they would take away the wealth of a large majority of the people of this country and give it to Ghuspetia or infiltrators, those who have more than 2 children, all of which is a clear dog whistle meant for Muslims. He reiterated that attack today in Aligarh, in Uttar Pradesh, but he dropped the reference to Muslims. The opposition Congress, the India Alliance, they're saying this is downright communal polarization. This is borderline hate speech. They have even moved the Election Commission, asking the Commission to take action against the Prime Minister. The BJP's contention is this was what Prime Minister Manmohan Singh said way back in 2006, that minorities, and particularly the Muslim minority, has the first claim on the resources of the country. So which of these two charges sticks? Which of these two charges holds up? That of appeasement, which the Prime Minister has laid at the doorstep of the Congress, or that of communal dog whistling, which the Congress accuses Prime Minister Modi and the BJP of? But first, let's listen in to this storm of charges from the campaign trail.
आपकी संपत्ति सरकार को हटने का अधिकार है क्या? क्या आपकी संपत्ति को, आपने मेहनत करके कमाई हुई संपत्ति को सरकार को ऐंठने का अधिकार है क्या? और पहले जब उनकी सरकार थी उन्होंने कहा था कि देश की संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है। इसका मतलब ये संपत्ति इकट्ठी करके किसको बांटेंगे? जिनके ज्यादा बच्चे हैं उनको बांटेंगे। घुसपैठियों को बांटेंगे। कांग्रेस और इंडी गठबंधन की नजर अब आपकी कमाई पर है, आपकी संपत्ति पर है। कांग्रेस के शहजादे का कहना है कि उनकी सरकार आई तो कौन कितना कमाता है, किसके पास कितनी प्रॉपर्टी है, किसके पास कितना धन है, किसके पास कितने मकान है, उसकी जांच कराएंगे। ये जो संपत्ति है उनको सरकार अपने कब्जे में लेकर उसको सबको बांट देगी।
अब देश को हिंदू मुसलमान के नाम पर आप झूठ परोसकर बांट रहे हैं। कांग्रेस के मैनिफेस्टो में कहीं भी, मैं ये चुनौती करता हूं प्रधानमंत्री को, कहीं मुसलमान या हिंदू कोई इस तरह का शब्द हो तो हमें बताएं और ये चुनौती स्वीकार करें, नहीं तो झूठ बोलना बंद करें। कांग्रेस के मैनिफेस्टो में न्याय की बात की है। न्याय नौजवानों के साथ, न्याय महिलाओं के साथ, न्याय आदिवासियों के साथ, न्याय श्रमिकों के साथ।
All right, I want to go open this up to our panelists. So which of these two charges sticks? Is it that of appeasement and minority appeasement by the Congress, or is it communal dog whistling by the Prime Minister? Guru Prakash Paswan is national spokesperson of the BJP. Sanjay Jha, political analyst, formerly affiliated with the Congress party. Smita Prakash, editor of ANI and senior journalist. And Javed Ansari, senior journalist, also joining us. Guru Prakash Paswan, this is what the Congress party, the India Alliance, they've even complained to the Election Commission today that the Prime Minister is indulging in downright communal dog whistling. How can he possibly say that the India Alliance, if it comes to power, will redistribute the wealth of the people of this country and give it to infiltrators, give it to people who have more children? That is euphemism, a dog whistle for Muslims.
Zaka, a very warm good evening to you and all my fellow panelists. I think Honorable Prime Minister was just stating or quoting from the observation of the previous Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. Dr. Manmohan Singh, in one of his speeches in 2007, in a conclave of National Commission for Minorities, he made this categorical statement. It is his words that the first claim or the first right over the resources of the country is of the Muslims, particularly the Muslim minorities. It is not the word of the Bharatiya Janata Party. It is not the word of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So I think that is where the problem starts. That is where the fundamental flaw exists. Zaka, if we do a historical analysis, Congress party and minority appeasement goes hand in hand. In fact, it is the Congress party that has institutionalized the practice of minority appeasement in the governance architecture. What was Haj subsidy? I want to ask you and your viewers tonight. What was that incident when Salman Khurshid, the Minister of External Affairs, he goes to the extent of saying this in public domain. Sonia Gandhi ji ke aankhon mein aasu the when the Batla House encounter happened. The Congress leaders, Zaka, you would very well remember, former Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, very senior leader, Mr. Digvijay Singh. He has gone on record and said, Osama ji, Hafiz Saeed ji, if this is not minority appeasement, then what is? And what is the crime that we have committed?
No, so
when
Guru,
we are exposing
Guru,
this
one second.
mindset of minority appeasement of the Congress party?
Issue that the Congress party is saying is, where in their manifesto have they said that they're going to redistribute wealth or that they're going to redistribute wealth to the minorities of this country?
No, I think it is very important for us to understand that Mr. Rahul Gandhi, who every 5 years gets stuck on one particular thing. In 2019, it was Rafale. In 2024, it is the socio-economic caste censor. Mr. Rahul Gandhi has gone on record and has said, इस देश का एक्सरे होना चाहिए, किसके पास कितना धन है ये पता होना चाहिए और उसके बाद उसका डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन होना चाहिए. I can give you hundreds of such videos that are available in the public domain, that are available in the social media, where Mr. Rahul Gandhi has spoken about it. But the problem is not that, Zaka. I think we have to understand, last point, that for 1.4 billion people of India, regardless of your caste, you go by the book, you go by the constitution. The first claim, the first right over the resources of our country is for the 1.4 billion of people, 1.4 billion people of India.
So,
Male,
Sanjay
female,
Jha,
caste, community doesn't matter to us.
Here is what the manifesto says, and I'll also say what Mr. Rahul Gandhi said a day after the release of the Congress Party manifesto. First, the manifesto says the Congress Party will conduct a nationwide socio-economic and caste census to enumerate the castes and subcastes and their socio-economic conditions. Based on this data, we will strengthen the agenda for affirmative action. It also goes on to say economic empowerment of minorities is necessary. It will strengthen the agenda for affirmative action and will ensure that minorities receive their fair share. Why doesn't the Congress Party manifesto ever say we'll also ensure the majority receives its fair share?
Zaka, let me answer you on all your questions. Number one, Mr. Modi and the BJP are pathological liars. I have debated on this issue of Dr. Manmohan Singh's speech since I was the Congress's official spokesperson even before 2014. The clarification had come from the PMO then itself. And I don't want to repeat it for your viewers. It's already out in the public domain. They are lying through their teeth. Point number two. If we had an independent election commission today, Zaka, Narendra Modi, India's Prime Minister, would have had the ignominy of being actually disqualified as a candidate for the Lok Sabha for using a communal and a religious slur during the campaign, which is prohibited in the Model Code of Conduct and the Representation of People Act. And worse, the kind of vulgar polarization that he's trying is perhaps a manifestation of some deep political frustration. Is coming, and I think the reason behind that is because after the first round of polling, the results look very disturbing for him.
No, that's a one second. That's a conjecture. That's a conjecture that you have made. But please answer the question I asked about what the manifesto says. And a day after the manifesto was released, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, speaking at a rally in Hyderabad, said, and these are his words, by the way, Sanjay, not mine, we will conduct a financial and institutional survey to find out who holds the country's wealth, what section holds it, and then we will undertake revolutionary work. Whatever your right is, we will work on giving you the same. I mean, is this politics or is this some Robin Hood, movie where he's going to take money from the rich and give it to the poor?
Okay, now let me answer that for you. It is a deliberate and a malicious propaganda by the BJP because Mr. Rahul Gandhi said what has been said many times before. Here, look at the facts. In India today, we are having one of the highest levels of income inequality. Number one, it has been established. Number two, the OBCs, the Dalits and the Adivasis constitute nearly 75% of India's population. What is the purpose of the caste survey and why is the BJP nervous? I'll tell you why. Because it will expose how the income inequality has been worsened because the state has given away its assets to crony capitalists. And if you really have to do a proper distribution of state subsidy, you got to make sure that end of day, following a caste survey, you bring in what is institutional redistribution. It means a proper taxation system. It means a welfare mechanism that works.
Sanjay,
and more importantly, it ensures targeted.
No, 1 second, Sanjay. You and I very well know that the people, who are paying taxes, who enable some form of redistribution of the wealth of this country are the middle class and the tax-paying citizens of this country. Some of that tax goes as subsidies, food subsidies, fertilizer subsidies, fuel subsidies. The point is not that. The point is you are not going to create an equitable society in this country, whatever utopian idea Mr. Rahul Gandhi has, by taking money from the rich and redistributing it to the poor.
Excuse me.
You know who tried that? You know who tried that? 1 second. You know who tried that? A gentleman named Mao Zedong in China. And you know what it led to? It led to the starvation of the greatest number of millions recorded in post-war history.
I object.
What do you mean you object? It's a recorded fact of history.
I object to your absolutely preposterous comparison, because by the way, you're talking to a guy who's a student of economics.
Okay.
I don't want to rub it in your face, but I'm also happen to be a PhD in the subject.
Okay.
Please hear me out for 30 seconds. In any society with inequality, the only way, Smita Prakash, take a deep breath. At least I'm not a fraudulent news analyst.
Hey, come on, man. Come on. Don't do this. No. Come on, Sanjay, you can do better than that. No, don't do this nonsense.
So here is the truth. Here is the truth.
You grinned all through when others speak. Stop being so pompous out here.
That those who are the beneficiaries of disproportionate income contribute to the exchequer, so that the government can spend that money to lift the poor, the farmers, etc., and the unemployed, which is the reason why Mr. Modi is going to
who
lose this
is
election.
stopping you?
Farmers,
Who has been stopping you for the last 60 years? Who do you think funds all these fertilizer, food and fuel subsidies? It's the money that you collect in taxes from those very same corporates and the very same middle class.
Excuse me.
So come on. So Mr. PhD in economics, I'm not a
Who
PhD
is
in economics.
giving away
I know
government
this basic,
assets to
I know this basic tenet, I know this basic fact that subsidies are on the back of people paying taxes, whether it is corporate taxes or direct personal taxes.
Saka,
Without that, there is no redistribution. There is no.
Trickle down.
What is this trickle down?
does not work.
You tell me, what is this trickle down economics?
Has it worked?
No. So you tell. What is trickling down?
You are proving
there
my
has to be money to trickle down, Sanjay. Where is that money coming from?
Zaka,
Where is it coming from? It's coming from
answered
Smita
my
Prakash.
question.
It's coming from me. It's coming from you.
Hello.
Anyway, let me move on. No. This is not an economic. This is not an economics 101 debate. Let me go to Smita Prakash. I want to talk about why the Prime Minister. And this is the contention of the Congress and the India Alliance. The Prime Minister is resorting to name-calling and dog-whistling and communal polarization because their contention is he's reading the signals after the first round. There's been substantial fall in voter turnout, particularly in the North Indian states. He wants to now rile up the base because without the BJP's base turning up, then there is no question of 300 or 350 or 400, whatever the target the Prime Minister has set.
Well, one can't really go into the mind of why the Prime Minister said this, but in the 24 hours since he has said it, you can see that there is applause from his core voter base and brickbats from his critics. And the gloves are off and everything now is on the table, including shock-inducing statements. Now, if the Congress or the TMC can interpret the BJP manifesto, and they have in the past, they've called it Hindi, they've called it Hindu, majoritarian, anti-minority, and they may be right on that. Then it naturally follows that the Congress manifesto is also up for criticism, and the speeches of their leaders, which find resonance in the manifesto, which you just pointed out, the one I had also pulled it out, in which Rahul Gandhi had said that we will do a caste census so that the backwards SC, ST, poor, general caste, minorities get to know how much they account for in our country. After that, we will do a financial and institutional survey to find out who holds how much of the country's wealth and section, and we will undertake revolutionary work. and whatever is your right, you'll be given, be it the media, the bureaucracy, institutions. And Zaka, this is important when he says this, because in 2011, the PMO then of Dr. Manmohan Singh, and I'm reading it out from an article which appeared in the Telegraph, and it is by Sanjay K. Jha. Now, I don't know whether it is the same PhD in economics that who's in the panel, in which he says, this article says that in the 27% reservation for OBCs, there was a quota for minorities. There was a quota for minorities, and this it was a proposal. It got okay from all the ministerial committees, including Sonia Gandhi gave her approval as per sources to this article, and it got approved at many stages. It somehow never got implemented. Rashid Alvi, who was the spokesperson, went on record to say at that time that the 64% Muslims are already getting reservation in the 27% OBC quota, but a mere 3% avail of it because they are unaware about how to avail of this quota. So he says the Yadavs and the Kurmis and the others, they take away all the quota in this. So what I'm saying is that what the Congress has done is not something new, something revolutionary, though Rahul Gandhi would like to call it that. It is just reinventing the wheel. They already had it in 2011. They brought it up. While it comes across as a shocker to you and me, because since 2011 and now, I think one has got more aware about the pitfalls of this kind of redistribution of wealth and things like that, which they talked about then. It never came into effect. Mamata Banerjee also, as per this report, had also got this study done, but she didn't implement it. Similarly, there was Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and the others also who got a similar study done, but did not implement it. Whereas now it's in the Congress manifesto. Okay. And as far as the crudity of the Prime Minister's language, which the Congress is talking about, is concerned, last point. The point is that the interpretation can be a sophisticated South Bombay one or a sophisticated South Delhi one, or the language of the streets. It can be sharp, crude, sophisticated. All manner of criticism is now kosher unless struck down by the EC.
Okay, I do want to bring in Javed Ansari, because the Prime Minister also invoked what Dr. Manmohan Singh had said back in 2006 at a meeting of the National Development Council. I'm going to read the full quote so that all of us, the viewers who are watching this broadcast, Sanjay, Guru, everybody who's part of this panel, gets the entire quote of what Dr. Manmohan Singh said. And I quote, "I believe our collective priorities are clear: agriculture, irrigation, water resources, health, education, critical investment in rural infrastructure, and the essential public investment needs of general infrastructure, along with programs for the upliftment of SC, STs, other backward classes, minorities, women and children. The component plans for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes will need to be revitalized. We will have to devise innovative plans to ensure that minorities, particularly the Muslim minority, are empowered to share equitably in the fruits of development. They must have the first claim on resources," unquote. This is the full quote of Dr. Manmohan Singh. If Dr. Manmohan Singh has said that the minorities, particularly the Muslim minority, must have the first claim on resources, why are you blaming the BJP for making that an issue? Why should the minorities have first claim on resources?
It's a very mischievous interpretation, Zaka.
I've read the exact quote. What do you mean interpretation? From quote to quote. No, let Javed answer, please. No, one second. Let Javed answer.
Okay.
Look, one, I don't agree with your interpretation.
I have not interpreted anything, Javed Saab. I've read it quote to quote.
So you read the last line. It says they. It doesn't say Muslims. By they, it's backwards. It's all the other people who are mentioned in
the sentence just prior to that says, we will have to devise innovative plans to ensure that minorities, particularly the Muslim minority, are empowered to share equitably in the fruits of development. They must have the first claim on resources. What does that mean?
There is all. Why are you just reading it as Muslim? There is all
because the previous sentence does not refer to all.
He's already said what he had to say about Muslims, that they must have an equitable share.
Okay.
The conclusion is that everybody he spoke about must have the poor must have the first rights over the country.
By the way, in the entire quote that I read, the word poor does not appear even once. But anyway, go ahead. Go ahead.
I am saying it. He's mentioned the people. He's mentioned the people. If you read it again, or I can pull it out for your benefit.
No,
if you
no,
want.
he talks about programs for the upliftment of SC, STs,
Yes,
other backward
yes.
classes, minorities,
Yes.
women and children,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But first of all, I mean, like I said, there is no word poor here, right? That's
No,
a
poor
word that
is not poor was
is,
my-
is not there.
it's not
Secondly,
there, fine.
not all SC, STs, OBCs, minorities, women and children need this upliftment that Dr. Manmohan Singh is talking about.
That's another debate.
No,
Now,
no.
it's
My
shifting the
point is,
goalpost.
my point is
but
the
Zaka-
last sentence, Javed Saab,
The
the
last
last
sentence-
sentence where Dr. Manmohan Singh said that they must have the first
I
claim
object to
on
your
resources.
absolutely meaningless
Why
and
is
misinterpretation.
why are you blaming the BJP for making an issue out of that? Because those are the exact words Dr. Manmohan Singh used.
Because that's a misinterpretation. Where does it? 1 minute. You asked me a question.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Allow me to answer
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I'm listening.
Where, because that's a misinterpretation. Where does it say the manifesto or Dr. Manmohan Singh's कि मंगल सूत्र और सोने की चूड़ियां ले ली जाएंगे that the Prime Minister said?
No, so
Is this the
that is up to the Prime Minister to spin it
No.
the way he wants.
No,
on the campaign
it has
trail,
to
he
be
spins
factual.
it.
No.
He spins
so
it.
The,
Why are you
so, the,
spinning it?
so the Prime Minister has
Why are
the
you
Prime
spinning
Minister
it?
has the right to spin it any which way, even in a communal way. But the others cannot talk of free distribution. Others cannot.
No.
talk
You
of-
go. Like I said, the Congress
Zaka,
party.
Zaka,
No, sir.
I'm a bit I'm
The Congress
terribly
party.
surprised
Javed
at
Saab,
what you're
one second.
saying.
Hear me
You're
out.
justifying
No. I'm not justifying at all. I in fact asked Guru Prakash Paswan. I started the show with that. The Congress party says this is a rank, communally polarizing, dog whistling statement, and they've approached the Election Commission. They're well within their right to approach the Election Commission. Nobody has a problem with that. The point is not that. The question I'm asking you is, did Dr. Singh say this or not? And from
Dr.
whatever quote I read
No.
to you, I've read the quote verbatim. I've not interpreted
Yes.
anything.
No, you have. You are interpreting.
It's there in the quote,
The
direct.
quote is that
Verbatim.
by they.
Mr. Jacob, can I answer?
You know,
They is a
wh-
plural. He would.
Javed
by
Saab,
they, he means
in
all
fact,
the others.
that is an interpretation. That is your interpretation that Dr. Singh meant when he said they,
Hello.
he meant everyone. That is an interpretation.
And your
Can I come in?
interpretation
Not-
is that he means directly the Muslims.
Because the
Whatever
previous
he
sentence
had-
only talks about
because
Muslims. In fact, it
Zaka,
says
whatever-
particularly the
whatever
Muslim
he-
minority. But anyway, I don't want to get.
Zaka, you're lying.
One second, Sanjay, come on, yeah, chill. I'm coming to you.
No, I'm chill.
One second. I can also go on national television and say you're a liar. Come on. I don't indulge in
Right
that.
now
No,
you're
I
lying
don't
to your-
indulge in that kind of gutter level debates. I do a serious debate. So
Right now
please
you're
wait your
lying to
time.
your-
Please wait your time. Javed Ansari, I don't want to get dragged down by all these semantics. I want to ask a very simple, direct question. You can say, okay, Prime Minister is spinning it, Prime Minister is polarizing it. Well, he has an election to win. He's going to do what it takes to win that election. Question is,
so
what is the
that-
Congress party going to do about it?
Well, what can the Congress party do about it? They're going to the election commission,
Hmm.
which in my view is a waste of time to expect this election commission to be fair or even come anything close to being fair is asking for the moon.
Okay.
This is an election commission which cannot see anything, which doesn't hear anything, and will never speak the truth.
Okay.
So this election commission, look what Mr. Amit Shah has said, that if the India alliance wins, there will be riots. Now, is that not dog whistling? What is he alluding to? What are we
Exactly.
talking about, Zaka? Let's focus on that also.
Okay.
There is nothing left for interpretation. of this
okay, well, let me ask Sanjay Jha.
Zaka.
One second. Sanjay Jha, the BJP also alleges. One second, Sanjay Jha, the BJP also alleges, and Guru is here. He's a great spokesperson to have on this question. But Sanjay Jha, please respond. The BJP is also alleging that India Alliance members, particularly in places like Bihar, UP, in Maharashtra, are going around and saying, oh, don't give them 350 seats or don't give them 400 seats because the moment you give them those, they will abolish reservations. Isn't that also spinning? Isn't that also communally charged?
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that also a factual inaccuracy that you are using for your own political ends?
Yeah, Zaka, you and I have debated very often. I have not used strong words, but today I have. And there's a reason. Zaka Jacob, you should be aware, you're a very well-known editor of a very popular channel, that Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh's office, on the immediate news interpretation done that you were talking to Javed about, issued a statement and a clarification of the way the BJP was exploiting it then. And it is still being exploited now. Narendra Modi is doing it from a rostrum, and you are allowing that to happen? Why don't you, before the program is over, kindly put out the clarification that Dr. Manmohan Singh issued out now?
Okay.
Doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani
No,
ho
go
jaye.
ahead. Answer my question. Yeah.
Now let me answer your question. You know what is the problem? The problem is that you have a prime minister today who's called the Muslims as child breeding. He's talked about their fertility, their reproduction. He's talking about, at the moment, about income being stolen away from the majority community to be given to the minorities. It's a dangerous game. This is the Prime Minister of India, not a fringe, not a spokesperson of a party. This man is the political head of our country. I mean, just because he's a Prime Minister today doesn't make all of us obligated to try and give him the gravitas that he does
Okay,
not deserve.
Sanjay, now
He's
answer the
walking
question
Indian
that I
democracy.
asked. How is this any more different or any less detrimental than what the BJP is alleging you guys are doing,
what
which is
direct-
telling people that if BJP gets 400, they will abolish reservations. The
Well, the
Prime Minister
BJP
speaking on the campaign trail a week back said even Baba Saheb Ambedkar cannot change the constitution on his women fancy.
Zaka, has the BJP is the only party that has stole the caste survey. Why? Because they're scared that their Hindutva campaign will completely unravel when the people in the Hindu caste system discover that they have been exploited economically, socially, and politically.
Okay. So,
That's the
Guru,
reason why
Guru
they're
Prakash
looking-
Paswan, the only reason your party is against the caste survey and you're from Bihar, the only reason your party is
Abhi
against the
Bihar
caste
ka wo-
survey is because, as Sanjay Jha said, and he's also incidentally from Bihar, as Sanjay Jha says, because your game of dividing Hindu society will be exposed. That caste Hindus, lower caste Hindus will
Sir,
realize how much they have lost out. That's why you're against the caste survey.
No, Zaka, I have been patiently listening to the observation by Javed Sahab and Sanjay ji. I have a couple of very pointed points to all my friends. So, Mr. Javed was making some comments on Election Commission of India, saying this Election Commission of India. Zaka, we all very well remember the year was 2009. Mr. Naveen Chawla, who used to call himself the third son of Indira Gandhi, declared unfit to hold any public office by Shah Commission. He was appointed as the election commissioner. Where was your decency back then? I want to ask you tonight. Number two, you speak of social justice. I think Mr. Sanjay Jha speaking of income inequality. Poverty is a state of mind. Zaka, you would remember. Where is poverty? Poverty is in shirt. Poverty is in pant. It was the
Stop
great
acting, come to
intellectual of
facts.
21st century, Mr. Rahul Gandhi. I did not, मैं बीच में नहीं बोला था संजय जी. थोड़ा धैर्य रखिए. इतना व्याकुल मत होइए.
नेता मत बनो यार,
There is
तुम्हारा
poverty is
गुरु
a state
काफी
of
कर
mind.
लेता है।
अरे मैं बीच में नहीं, संजय जी मैं आपसे बेहतर चिल्ला सकता हूं लेकिन मेरे संस्कार ऐसा अलाउ नहीं करते हैं. क्षमा
आप
चाहता
नहीं
हूं.
चिल्ला
सॉरी.
सकते हैं बेहतर हमसे, सुने नहीं
पावर्टी
है।
जस्ट मैं संजय जी मुझे पता है, संजय जी मुझे पता है Congress party and the elite establishment of this country, Zaka, cannot tolerate an Adivasi ki beti at the highest constitutional office in the country. These people are talking about caste census. These people are talking about social justice. देश के इतिहास में पहली बार एक आदिवासी की बेटी संविधान के सर्वोच्च स्थान पे पहुंची. क्या गालियों का सामना उनको नहीं करना पड़ा. मेरा मुंह मत खुलवाइए आप लोग. The simple point, Zaka, last 10 seconds, Zaka, this is
10
the,
seconds. Yeah.
Mr.
Sanjay,
Sanjay Jha, don't get
come on.
vyakul.
Come, let him
नहीं,
finish.
नहीं.
Let him finish. Yeah. So, Guru, finish quickly. Yeah.
Zaka, I rarely say this. But let me say this on your show tonight. ये आदिवासी की बेटी को राष्ट्रपति बनते नहीं देख सकते हैं. एक अति पिछड़ी जाति का सामान्य परिवार में पैदा हुआ बेटा प्रधानमंत्री बनता हुआ नहीं देख सकते हैं. इनके नेता कहते हैं आके चाय बेचिए आप ये कहते हैं. मणिशंकर अय्यर ने कहा था कि नरेंद्र मोदी आकर के चाय बेच सकते हैं. आज आपकी स्थिति क्या हो गई आपको देखने की जरूरत है. आप पचा नहीं सकते हैं कि कोई दलित व्यक्ति आपके सामने यहां डिबेट करे. दिस इज द फ्यूडल माइंडसेट ऑफ द कांग्रेस पार्टी. ये आपकी सामंती मानसिकता है. नहीं जाका रुकिए अभी. जाका लास्ट 10 सेकंड्स. दिस इज द फ्यूडल एरोगेंट माइंडसेट ऑफ द कांग्रेस पार्टी व्हिच मस्ट बी एक्सपोज्ड. आप इस बात को स्वीकार नहीं कर सकते हो कि देश के इतिहास में इतना ताकतवर प्रधानमंत्री एक अति पिछड़ी जाति का है. ये दिक्कत है आपको. आपको पेट में दर्द इस बात से होता है. संजय झा, स्वीकार करो इस बात को.
The other contention, one second, Smita Prakash, the other contention that's being made by the opposition parties is, while on the one hand, Prime Minister goes to UAE and to Qatar and he's courting the Muslim world, and then on the campaign trail, there is this open dog whistling against Muslims. I mean, surely, as one of the panelists said, he's the Prime Minister of the country. He's not some fringe element.
He's not a fringe element. Agreed to that. But at the same time, there is an election and he's electioneering, he's campaigning. Is it right? Is it not right? The point which I've made several times on your debate is that for 10 years we had a prime minister who was not political in nature, who was not campaigning, who left the politics to Sonia Gandhi and the others to do, and he was an administrator. Now you have in the past 10 years, and that is not acceptable to many other people. I want to make a couple of points which I listened to everybody. He's saying, one, Mr. Jha says we are not obligated to give gravitas just because he's the prime minister. You know, this comes back to what you were saying about him going abroad and he's making statements about Muslims, whereas in the country, the dog whistle. Where is the gravitas? The Prime Minister was called, and what Guru Prakash said, he's been called Gadha, he's been called Neech, he's been called Maut Ka Saudagar, he's been called Chor, Dakat, Hitler, Mussolini, so many other things. So there is no sense of, that he has to live up to the respect that the opposition has given him. No, he's never had that acceptability from a certain section in our country. The other point which I wanted to make is that, which you brought up also, the Congress in its manifesto says we'll ensure that minorities receive their fair share of opportunities. And in that, they list out a whole bunch of things which include education and public works contracts. What is public works contracts and minorities getting it? Does that mean that if a bridge is to be given, a flyover ka tender niklega, to tender mein minority ka minority, which means that a Muslim or a Dalit or somebody will get it just because it is in the quota of minorities. Then it says sports mein minority ka milega, minority community. What does sports mein minority community mean? Ki wicket keeper Muslim hoga ya fir opening batsman Muslim hoga? What is that supposed to mean? Culture, healthcare, everything is going to have minority skill development. In skill development, how does minority come? So, quite naturally the BJP is accusing or laying it out in black and white when he says Mangal Sutra, it can be seen as or childbearing, lots of children. Yes, those are dog whistles. But why is he doing that? He's simplifying it for the kind of people that he's talking to. They are not sophisticated English-speaking PhDs who are listening in. So he's breaking it down in the language that his electorate understands, his voter base understands.
No,
that's not acceptable to a certain section of our society because it doesn't. It jars for people like us.
He's working his base. You could say that he's being economical with the truth, or he's stretching the truth, but he's working the base. But I'll give Javed Ansari the final word. Javed Ansari, the point is this election, at least the first phase, was said to be thanda. That the voter turnout in some places, particularly in northern states, Rajasthan, UP, Bihar, etc., was 4, 5, 6 percentage points lower than last time. It's no longer a thanda election.
I was on Shivani's show the other day and we were discussing this business of whether the constitution is being, this talk of amending the constitution. And she said that, somebody remarked on that show that this is a remarkable election. And I interjected, I said, perhaps we are talking too early. My fear was, and I was convinced in my mind that sooner rather than later, this is going to heat up. There are issues. And I do believe that based on projections that we discussed on your show, the BJP's feedback is that perhaps 370 appears to be a bridge too far, maybe even 300. And therefore, they need to do a lot more to rev up, to pump up their base. And that's why he's doing it. But in doing so, he has every right to reverse his base. But in doing so, he's being less than prime ministerial and sometimes economical with truth. Just 1 second. He says he's facilitated, in Aligarh today, he said that he's facilitated that Muslim women can travel to Saudi Arabia for Hajj without their husbands. Government of India or no government has anything to do with it. It is the Saudi government. This rule was brought in by the Saudis and they are the ones who've done away with it. It is not only for Indian Muslims, it is for all pilgrims from across the world who are going.
He said, I spoke with the Saudi prince.
He spoke, he's claiming credit for something. He said,
I spoke with the Saudi prince and I intervened.
Okay.
It has nothing to do, Smita ji, it has nothing to do with anybody's intervention.
Okay. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. I'm completely out of time. But thank you to Guru Prakash Paswan, to Sanjay Jha, Smita Prakash, and to Javed Ansari. We'll see how this plays out on the campaign trail. Today, of course, the Prime Minister doubled down on the attack on the so-called redistribution of wealth.